Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. As always, Bryan here with your Las Vegas real estate update for April. March was a huge month in real estate news. So in an effort to keep these video updates closer to 5 minutes, and it's probably going to be 9, I'm going to simply touch on some of these issues and then provide links throughout this video to specific videos that I'm producing which cover the more important topics in depth. As always, we're going to start with the current inventory numbers. Next, I'm going to break down the current inventory to see what the current ratios are looking like. After that, we'll check out the last month's notice of default numbers to really see how the future looks for the foreclosures. Then, I'm going to discuss some of the current news topics such as the soaring rate of land values, the truth behind the lack of inventory, and finally, AB 284 and 3 new bills that were introduced a few weeks ago that could greatly affect the market. So let's get started. As you can see on the screen right now, we started the month with 3,174 homes on the market. As we've seen consistently for the last few months, we ended the month with only 3,052 homes. Simply put, we lost 122 homes for the month. Even simpler, we saw a 4% decline in inventory in March. Now, let's take a look at what the inventory looks like. 12% of the market are short sales, which is down from 15% last month, while only 10% of the market were foreclosures. Amazingly, 78% of the market are traditional sales. Realistically, I think this is a very deceiving statistic, since we all know that any home on the market is sold virtually instantly. Even homes in poor condition are selling fast, since there's a price for everything. I'm seeing homes listed for sale that are so far from reasonably priced that it's just laughable. I would guess that roughly a third of the so-called traditional sales are so overpriced that that's the only reason they're still on the market. Thus, they're still pretty much not even worth counting on these properties. Furthermore, this means that 25% of the available inventory isn't even really available, since the owners are so unrealistic that these properties can't really be sold at this time. Okay, next we move to the NOD, or Notice of Default numbers. If you're new to the show, the reason we look at Notice of Defaults is because this is the first stage in the foreclosure process, and thus a very good precursor to indicate future foreclosure activity. Now, unfortunately, you can see now that we've been very consistent with regards to the Notice of Defaults for a few months now. Although we're better than we were, it's still a paltry amount compared to the 4,000 we were filing back before AB 284. Okay, as you can see, that last month we had 1,469 NODs, while this month it went up to 1,561. Let me quickly disclaim this. The only reason we had more this month is because there was actually just 2 more auction days in March than in February. So in fact, the per capita rate was actually a bit smaller in March than it was in February. So hopefully with AB 284 being amended this month, we should start to see an uptick of Notice of Defaults in the month of May. Now on to some fun topics. First is with regards to land values. On April 1st, Hubble Smith of the Las Vegas Review-Journal ran an article that reported that residential land prices are up 90% since last year. Let's just say double. Equally important is the fact that land sales were up 37% as well. So what does this mean? Well, like I've been preaching for some time, we're simply blowing up too much too fast. This whole market is completely fabricated. Home builders are selling out subdivisions immediately since there's nothing on the resale market for people to purchase. But now that they are paying double for the price of land, guess what? New home prices are going to head up as a result of their added cost basis. So last year, new home prices rose 21% according to Hubble Smith, In a March 21st article that, thank you, I was quoted in, new home prices rose 21%, and now that builders have to pay double for their land, how much more do you think new home prices will be by the end of this year? Now, this leads me to a question for you. We've already established that we've got roughly 100,000 homes in the greater Las Vegas area that still have to be foreclosed on. The only reason the market is reacting the way it is because there's no inventory. So what do you think will happen when inventory does come back and we see foreclosures again next year? Do we really need all of these new homes when we've got 50,000 vacant properties right now? Just some food for thought, okay? So speaking of inventory, the number one question I get is, how come there is no homes for sale out there? The honest answer is somewhat complicated and involves mostly the government's intervention in the real estate market. The federal government has sued the largest banks and therefore created settlements which create temporary incentives for banks to not seek foreclosure. And here in Nevada, AB 284 has made it exceptionally difficult for banks to facilitate foreclosures. In order to really answer this question, I made a video. You can click right up here somewhere right now, which I think will shock and educate you in a way that nobody is talking about in the news media. Once you realize why the banks just foreclosed on millions of people without attempting to really work out these loans, I promise you, you're going to be literally blown away and pretty angry. So definitely check it out after this video. Okay, last is with regards to AB 284. From what I understand, this month we're finally going to see AB 284 get amended. AB 300 has been proposed, and this is the bill that will essentially fix AB 284. But also this month we had a bill proposed called SB 321, which is like California's Homeowners Bill of Rights. And last, we have a bill called AB 389 that was just proposed, which essentially allows homeowners to request copies of their mortgage note, etc., etc., etc. You can click up here somewhere right now for the full-length explanation of these new bills and what this will really mean for the real estate market in Las Vegas. So, to wrap this up, inventory is still weak at roughly 3,000 homes and is continuously decreasing. Most of the homes on the market are traditional sales, and most of those traditional sales are just ridiculously overpriced. Notice of defaults are flat at about 1,500 instead of 4,000 where it should be. Land values have doubled, and more builders are buying land now than last year. Finally, you have a great explanation as to why inventory is non-existent, so please, please, please check that one out right now. And last, we have a bunch of new bills that were introduced in March, so click here again for a better explanation into those bills. Now, thank you again for watching, and please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns you have regarding Las Vegas real estate. Have a wonderful April, everyone.